AKA Patters, welcome back to the channel. No hat today. As we get into the passing of Don Perlin, he is one of the all-time greats. He is a comic book titan, a creative powerhouse, and he's one of those names that have been with me since my early days of really getting into reading comics. And what we have here, and we're going to get into it, I still have them in the original bags. But this is his Bloodshot run from my original comic book collection. Now, as you guys know, I purged my original comic book collection and I kept 2 runs. And I was saving that revelation for a video, but along the way, tragedy happens. And I normally don't do RIP videos. I think they're just not tasteful at all. And yes, I've been accused of all kinds of things regarding RIP videos. But Don Perlin is someone that deeply affected the way I look at American comic books. I just want to highlight that with you and kind of go through some of these Bloodshot issues that I haven't been through since I originally read them. How crazy is that? So join me on this channel. We're going to pay our respects to a true titan of the industry. Let's go. AKA Powders, welcome back to the Table of Crypt. Peter A. DeLuca here. I love having you guys here. Welcome to my bed of pain. Guys, this is also the channel that we respect the 2 greatest Batmobiles ever designed. Batman Forever and the single cockpit Batman and Robin. Welcome to the Valiant universe. Potentially the greatest comic book run of all time. Yeah, I'm just pound by pound. Everything that Valiant published was solid. Nothing misses a beat. We can argue DC in the 70s, Marvel in the 80s, right? Like similar, never missing a beat. But everything I just named did miss beats. Welcome to Bloodshot issue 0. I like just doing these blind presentations because I get to re-experience some of it with all of you. This is Joe Quesada. Joe Quesada has drawn 2 of the greatest chromium covers of all time. One of them being Bloodshot, no, 3 of them. Bloodshot 0, Ninjak number 1, and Exo Manowar issue 0. These are the original issues that I read. And at the time, I bought everything Valiant did, and I thought I was a curator. I thought I had to preserve them, because you kind of knew that they were going to fade away. And look at this shot here. I mean, for a double spread here. Valiant really swung for the fences, guys. We have Barry Windsor Smith. Now, this style of chromium, okay, these are like almost like chromium, like pasted, right? Like you can see that this one's crooked. Like these were black covers, and they just pasted the chromium image on. Bloodshot and Turok number 1 both had this style of chromium cover. I love the old ads. But look at again. Like, it's a story, right? Like, we're establishing, and see, how intelligent is that, people? Issue 0 bleeds right into issue 1. How's that for blowing one's mind? Don Perlin. Here he is. And what we're doing here, AKA Patters, we're effing telling a story, establishing shots. Interior establishing shots, close up, wide. We're telling a freaking, look at that, the blasting through his chest. I'm sorry, but we are telling a story here. And for anyone interested in comic book storytelling, I'm not sure if there's a cheaper entry point than 90s Valiant comics. And I'm getting triggered here. I'm getting triggered because I just want to reform my Valiant Kingdom. Get the entire Jim Shooter era. Here's more Don here. And we can say, you guys hear me preach about this a lot. The importance of the establishing shots. Because, again, look, we almost get 2 of them back to back. And how cool is this? The beginning of issue 2 here is almost like the beginning of Fast and Furious 7, where Jason Statham is just going through the hospital, killing everyone. But the importance of, again, establishing shots, medium inside, close up, then we pull the camera away. My biggest criticism for Don, just as this is more of a McFarlane Capullo absolute love of mine. The way how on Spawn, how Capullo rotated the camera. Now he did that on X-Force, he did that with Batman New 52. And like, in a way, it programs you to want more flash in some of your paneling. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go crazy, but every once in a while, and this is really the Bart Sears influence on modern comics at the time. Of the day, and here's Bart Sears right here, I would put like Bart Sears at the top of the list of the people that really innovated storytelling during this era. Some of the Image stuff rolls in, trust me. But Bart Sears had like the elements of the Image and the storytelling of Valiant. And he was able to put them together. Because he would do things like, you know, he would break the panel border. And he would do a lot of good negative panels, like negative space panels. And guys, I don't know if you're following, but we're going into issue 3. Our boy Bloodshot here has already interacted with other. We have Eternal Warrior, Exomania War. We're back with Eternal Warrior here. But he's interacting with the entire Valiant universe. I really do like these establishing shots. And this style is, for lack of a better term, is an economic style where you can I would say your rate of production for these are 3 penciled and ink pages a day. Maybe even 5. Depending on the paneling. Depending on what you may have to draw. But you can see, look, he does rotate the camera between these 2 pages here. Look at the different views of the car. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different views of the car. It's insane. Rye and the Future Force, really good stuff. Look at this awesome Joe Quesada cover. Joe Quesada was hemming and hawing during this era. More with the car. More with the car. It's important when you, and this is for anyone out there, if you work with an illustrator, it's your responsibility to have an illustrator that, as a writer and publisher, that you can have confidence of hiring, knowing that they're going to be able to do this. They should be able to draw anything. Anything from any angle. No, and continued in Hardcore 5. So freaking cool. So we finished that in another title, but we come back the next month, and we're off to something new. And look at these establishing shots. Like, there's a symmetry to it month to month. Don Perlin here did the layouts, all right? Andrew Wendell came in with the finishes. But you see it here. You still see the Perlin, and you know, like Wendell here is a little bit more, he renders more. Renders a little bit better. But we're getting things done here. We're in the future now. And you can really follow the flow of the story without reading these. And that's the enjoyment. So we got issues 4 and 5. I know I'm missing one. But it's like the Ninjak issue. For me, for whatever reason, the Ninjak one was like the most important one. Just because I love that Ninjak issue 1 so much. Like, this is so freaking cool. And this directly connects to Rye in the Future Force. You know, and it's insane. So, like, from a universe standpoint, Valiant Comics goes to the past, future, and present in some of their threads, almost in real time as you're reading the books. Hardcore's good. Dr. Mirage, yeah, Bernard Chang. Sorry, I may have said Jim Chang in the intro there. Well, intro or intro, because we're shooting some of this out of sequence. I know I made a wrong reference here, guys. Bernard Chang, Dr. Mirage, solid book. Secret Weapons. We're AKA Padders. We're gonna go all in on Valiant. And I'm just going to start doing it because I'm so passionate for this series. Oh yeah, 0 Hour. So this is the Joe Quesada Chromium cover, and it goes this way because he's fighting all the spider space aliens. Yes, spider space aliens. And this is the one. Yes, I remember this. I loved this splash page. I don't know why. It's like, so if we have issue 5, right, and we're so I am missing issue 6. I wanted to see how the previous issue wrapped up. I really love how he grabs her in the free fall, falls through the trees, fixes himself up, and just gets out there. And this is a great story because our hero is already, like, he's broken. Like, he's on 100%, because if he was 100%, he would be able to take Ninjak. And this is your responsibility of a storyteller. Let's just say editorial comes to you and they're like, we need to put these two guys together. Do it. Right? You have to do it. And you know it doesn't work. Like, the encounter, the team up, the rivalry just doesn't work because these two characters, like, one's almost godlike and one is just he's a ninja. What do you do? So you start the story, like, right, like we start things, we depower our hero. We depower our hero and we put him on equal ground. And then we have to wrap up the adventure. The adventure continues. It's really good stuff. And I kind of feel like I've been betraying all of you with not highlighting Valiant Comics a little bit more on this channel. Their work on Deathmate, solid. Rodney Ramos, inker. Rodney Ramos also is a decent penciler. And Ted Halstead. So we might be done with the Don Perlin side here. But again, look at the paneling. Deathmate, solid, guys. The Valiant side of Deathmate, solid. The Image side of Deathmate, a lot of fun. But we kind of see straight... I call this straight paneling, where we're not breaking the border. We're not going crazy. We're doing paneling to tell the story. So let's just see. Yeah, I don't really remember him. Yeah, okay, so he's back on issue 9. Again, boats, he's drawing any environment. And people, keep in mind, I haven't really touched these issues since they dropped, which is in 1993. These stayed in the bag since 1993. Valiant Reader. Dude, I love the environment here. Like, you can tell that they're in a crappy, like, Malaysian hotel or something. This is just good stuff, dude. Like, look, like, you know this guy is bad news. You know he's potentially a drug dealer of some sort. Like, you know, and like this is just what we're talking about, where you can follow it without reading it. And this level of storytelling, it's just, I hate to keep saying it. I'm sorry, it just doesn't exist. It just doesn't. Let's just get into, I think we have 10, 11, and 12. Now, this is where I do a little bit hazy. Some of these ones I may, as a kid, I may have just bought and bagged and wanted to go back and read, but never got around to it. Because I'm not sure, like this issue, Bloodshot's Day Off, which we'll be highlighting some of this with Wildstorm Wednesday and Top Cow Tuesday, what I call them the vacation issues. I want to say this is potentially photo reference. You can kind of... California, what a good movie. David Duchovny. Yeah, Don Perlin. He is just rock and rolling. This is a great establishing shot. And again, too, like, when you see this, and we layer our establishing shots like this, and we put the character in the environment, something magical happens. You hear it. You hear the scene. You don't need sound effects. When you put the audience where they're supposed to be as a storyteller, you hear it. Yeah, so he's really in, like, what you would call, like, the backwoods. And look, we have things happening in the UK. We have Big Ben. Again, use landmarks. Armorine's such a fun, wild book, too. Archer and Armstrong. Absolute weapon of a book. This is great, too. Look, he digs a trench, drops right in. And ready to rock and roll. Great coloring here. I just don't understand this idea that, oh, pick of the month. Look, does this kid make his own EXO Main Award jacket? This month's spotlight goes to the incredible creation Paul Leishes of Clinton, Wisconsin. Paul spent about a month and a half airbrushing his biological battle jacket in conjunction with Affinity Comics and Adventure Games. Holy crap. Holy crap. Yeah, I don't know, AKA Padders. What do you guys think? Let me know if we really... I know we do a lot of promises on this channel, and that's because I'm enthusiastic and I want to cover it all. But let me know. Look, Intercompany Crossover, Secret Weapon 6-7, EXO Main Award 27. Just let me know. Like, do we have to go deeper into all of these? Do we want to see Ninjak with Joe Quesada, Jimmy Palamani, and Mark Moretti? Look at great pose here. Like, that's Burn Hogarth right there. That's a Burn Hogarth pose. Really, really wild stuff though, guys. I said this for a while, is I just really wish they would remake these comics. And not the way that the newer version of Valiant Comics did these characters, because the new version of Valiant Comics is nothing but a Hollywood pitch machine. I would just get a new artist and, like, let's just redraw some of this. Let's kind of expand the action. Let's decompress it a bit. Have fun with that. We will be doing the Deathmate trading cards on this channel, aka Padders. Another promise. Let's just redraw these books and update them. Just draw them for modern aesthetic. But in the meantime, before you guys see this, I will be picking up lots on eBay. So the AKA Pad effect is affecting himself. Look at the Deathmate tour. Which ones are in New Jersey? Let's see. Wow, these are all California. Look at, dude, 2 rows of California stores. LA 3. New York. Oh, Steve's Comic Relief, Lawrenceville, New Jersey. I have been there. Both Steve Comics Reliefs. Very nice. Comics Relief 2 is a little bit of a name that still resonated in Jersey. And I'm not familiar with Marple's Comics, New Brunswick, New Jersey. For me, that's like 2 hours towards New York City from where I grew up. People, Don Perlin here. He is an absolute master. Deeply inspirational. I wish I got more into Valiant Comics through my adulthood, but that is changing right now. And I am sad that this is your introduction to Valiant Comics on this channel, that we have to go through a passing. I feel like I let you guys down. I really do. So we're changing up the format a little bit here, only because this video, aka Patters, and let me tell you, we're super early in the morning. I got the hot coffee ready. I'm trying to do some work on the laptop. I'm trying to fix the Microsoft Surface here. This is my streaming station. Microsoft Surface Pro Book 1, the tablet laptop hybrid, is one of their all-time best products. This has now been the bane of my existence because my backup that I cobbled together does not have the hardware capabilities of high quality streaming. This is madness, and I just got a lot going on. This channel, my policy, a lot of it's been we don't do RIP videos, and I know that is it's a contradictory idea based on all the content on this channel, and I do my very best to explain myself as you march on and you kind of start developing ways to roll out daily content like myself. There's just a lot of emotion in it sometimes. I always viewed it as distasteful, anyone even doing a post about the current passing, because so many people love bomb and they use it to pump their own stock, and they use it to to lend significance to their otherwise failed comic book careers and comic book lives. This is one of the things I absolutely dislike about the entire comic book community. But with Don Perlin, and very similar, because the previous one was Paul Neary, is these individuals produced work that I was there for, that I read, and these were names that were not prevalent in the comic book press. They were only prevalent within the industry. Very much like Paul Neary, he was a titan of his own. He was a titan for what Marvel assigned him to do. Don Perlin, really, like, the guy, and as you can tell, we're shooting this out of sequence. I haven't unbagged these yet. Don Perlin coming into Valiant Comics and having a character as hyped up as Bloodshot, and the hubris that Bloodshot is the one of the Valiant characters that broke through into live action. This symmetry here is fascinating to me, and reading the Valiant comics of the 90s during the Image era, while everyone was screaming from the mountaintops that the books were not well written, the artwork was confusing, no one liked the art style, and they blamed everything on like the teenagers, the speculators, and the young kids buying up books like Youngblood, Spawn, Brigade, Cyber Force, so on and so forth. All of that, a lot of that is highlighted in detail on our let's do a plug, on our 2 weekly shows, Top Cow Tuesday and Wildstorm Wednesday. And with all of this chaos, so to speak, of the 90s comic book industry, Valiant Comics, for a solid 2 years, they produced some of the best #1s, some of the best series, some of the absolute newest, coolest, best characters, and they did everything in the style of old. Now they brought in, developed new talent, and breathed life into talent. Even like BWS had a second reign of his career thanks to Valiant Comics, and they brought in guys like Joe Quesada, Jimmy Chung from Dr. Mirage. Really hot, high-level stuff. They built this template of how to reboot characters and introduce characters that were not normally related, and relating them into a giant universe, and we get Unity with that. And Unity really is the greatest inter-company crossover of all time, if we were to eliminate Crisis of Infinity Earths from DC Comics and Marvel Comics Onslaught. If we take away the 2 from the big 2, Unity from Valiant Comics is the greatest inter-company crossover of all time. So, Don Perlin's work on Bloodshot. Bloodshot was a book targeted towards the Image audience, and so was Ninjak. But Bloodshot was so freaking good, it was so freaking entertaining. Month to month, it held up. It was hyped up in the pages of another book, Eternal Warrior, which was also targeted towards that younger Image crowd. And this is what makes Valiant Comics so unique and worthy of study. And for this channel, I'm building into a full Valiant analysis. Top Cow Tuesday, Wildstorm Wednesday eventually will end, or they'll become they'll get shifted to non-weekly, and we'll switch the focus onto Malibu Comics and Valiant Comics. Yes, this is coming. So it's just his work and like existing around the time of Spawn and Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee's Wildcats. These comics, okay, like yeah, you would pick these up, and a lot of people would, the younger kids would not buy these, but the individuals that were interested in reading comics and character building, and they made Bloodshot very quickly, just like Exo-Mano were, into a legacy character very quickly, and adding this rich lineage to the psyche of the character. And I'm not talking about the personality of the character. It's like I mean to say the DNA of the character became legacy and meaningful. And I just feel bad. And if you guys can tell, I'm babbling a little bit. And the reason why I feel bad, because I was saving this stack I wanted to reveal this to you guys, and another run of the two series and the two runs that I saved from my original comic book collection, and I wanted to share that with all of you. And Don Perlin's passing took that away. And again, there's a level of frustration and angst that goes into that from me to you. But this is more important. This is, to me, something that has to be said, because a lot of what we do on this channel is contrarian to the popular YouTube comic book opinions. We don't really trend track. We kind of use trends to explore deeper crevices of what those trends represent. Things like Pain Asian American Month this month, and even like Pride Month. We go into crevices when it comes to these themes, just because it gives us a reason to explore and sharpen the blade, if that makes any sense. Yeah, and what I have not seen in the comic book world, in the comic book YouTube world, is really anyone that brings you Don Perlin's work in a meaningful way. And by meaningful, I mean how it affected them. This is one of the policies, you can call it the editorial mandate of this channel. We can do RIP videos as long as you're connected to the work in a meaningful way. Don Perlin and his work on Bloodshot showed me that we can get the Image comic book idea of what those books were, and we can inject it with story and character and plot, and a month-to-month flow that essentially smashed everything, smashed all of its competitors. We have to remember that the 90s Valiant Comics is easily the number one, and everything else is a distant second. So we can argue about what Top Cow did, what Wildstorm did, what Rob Liefeld did with Extreme Studios, what Chaos Comics did, what Crusade Comics did, what Topps Comics did, and the list goes on. And that's a jockeying of position. Realistically speaking, I would probably put Malibu and its publishing arm, or the superhero publishing arm, the Ultraverse, as the solid number 2, and then we're competing for number 3. When we explore some of these veins and crevices, as I like to call them, we discover new things, and we are building into a full rollout of Valiant Comics. But for now, we have to get through Top Cow Tuesday and Wildstorm Wednesday, because the goal of this channel is to explore these titles, these books, and these creators detailed. Like, it has to be detailed. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys with all of that. Hopefully you're inspired to go out and you track down some of these issues. Like first appearance of Ninjak right here. It's just that, and it just sucks, because I don't know, maybe in one day I envisioned doing more of a retrospective on some of these people, and not just like an RIP video. But I'm hoping Don is happy where he is. I'm hoping his family and his friends have dealt with the loss. And geez, we know what the industry is like. The harsh reality of the industry is the money, and I'm just hoping that dude got a couple fresh hot paydays from that Vin Diesel Bloodshot movie, money that he was able to pass on to his family, because he deserves that. He's that talented, but that's a little bit of the pain of the comic book world. History, all of it, the entire history. Only a small top of the pyramid, mountaintop worth of people have actually made bank, and then the rest of the people suffer. You know, that's a little bit of the hubris of Don Perlin. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I didn't even want to look any of that stuff up or try and find validation on it, because if I did, it would just more or less just upset me. So people, aka Pat here, signing out. Thank you for hanging out with me.